No, I'm slacking. And welcome to the National Meat Treasure Podcast with your hosts, Donnie Hathaway.
Donnie Hathaway.
Donnie Hathaway, and with your host, Pitbull's stand-in.
And your other host, Big Thrillah style.
You
Big
probably
Thrillah
plotted
style.
that all week.
Have you said that? Have you said that during sex? Because I think you need to.
No, but
I think your wife would totally be down with that if you just said Big Thrillah style, and you just pull the condom and then like bust on wherever you want to.
you know what? I'm gonna give it a shot, and I'm gonna report back.
Literally.
Yeah,
Literally.
Yeah, you ever like watch those like old like 90s movies where like dudes are fucking and they're like, yeah, call me Big Pop, or they always say something stupid and the girls are always with it. I can't like I fuck and
You've
I can't
never
pull
done
that off.
You could pull that off. Yeah, you can. I used to call myself Big Daddy a lot. I'm smaller daddy now, so yeah, Big Daddy
I'd be
throwing
like,
it.
yeah, bitch, call me Skeletor. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll get you, He-Man. Yo, can we talk about that day that you stayed over at my house and we watched all of He-Man, Master of the Universe?
Yes,
Like
the new
literally,
the Redux.
that's sick.
That's about the
the
ladies.
Redux with Kevin Smith directing and writing. That was fucking solid. That was really good. I didn't expect it. Jackson was in it.
90s cartoons are like the only good thing about capitalism because half of them were made just to sell toys, which is so weird to me. Like somebody made a shirtless man and was like, how can we get people to buy this?
Let's write a story around this.
Hold on.
Nigga.
Hold on. Someone get me a motherfucking Green Cat stat. We need to sell at least 1 million units of this. Like, what the fuck, bro? Like, literally, like, that was the entire crux of He-Man. That was like Mattel would just like pump out shows and it'd be weird, like sexually erotic men, you know, in small, tight clothing, women.
There's a cartoon. There's a special on Netflix. I'm sure you watched it about like the toys that made us. They explain why.
It's
they
such
do
a good
that,
one.
I forgot why they do that, but like they started with G.I. Joes that were pretty much straight up like Ken dolls, and then like they just got it was Schwarzenegger. That's why. The Schwarzenegger movies. Schwarzenegger got into Hollywood, and then like the action movies blew up with Rocky in this, so they started making all these action figures way more jacked, and thusly He-Man was born.
Yeah, I mean he's like ridiculously jacked. Like, I mean, I'm sure you've seen at least one person similar to them. Have you? I've seen at least
in real life,
like one guy. Yeah, in real life.
I definitely have. Yeah, definitely have.
I mean, there's Chris Bumstead, Mr. Olympia. Shout out to Chris Bumstead's sister on her fucking Bobby Schmurder shit. I know you guys don't keep up with bodybuilding, but I think he's like 8.
Did she get locked up?
Yeah, he's like 8-time Mr. Olympia, and like it's there. You know, obviously, if you're Mr. Olympia or anywhere near it, you are on a lot of performance-enhancing drugs because humans can't get physically that large.
Right.
There's no rules against doing that stuff. But
Wow.
I'm not really sure the legality of it here, but I know Chris Bumstead is from Canada, and his sister, who's also a bodybuilder, and her husband is also a bodybuilder. She got caught with Tren. She got caught with a bunch of different steroids, but Trenbolone was one of them. Trenbolone is not for women, so she definitely took the fall for either Chris or her husband. So shout out to her. And her hot jacked ass.
Holding it down.
Hold on. I got something going on. Damn it. Stop it, World Star Hip Hop. I don't want to see Black Zack featuring Key Glock. Yeah. You know what I was looking for?
Key Glock earlier.
Have you guys so speaking on things, but have you seen that video that just came out, and it's like white chick almost Rebecca Blacking it, like, you know what I mean, like just full on send, like she, like there's a line where she literally stops in the song to go ha ha ha.
Oh,
ha, ha,
yes.
ha, ha. Yes.
I have actually
shake that booty, shake that
ha,
money
ha, ha
maker
part
in my face.
It's so fire.
Yes, it I don't know why. It's in my.
Every time that happened, I thought the shit was about to drop like hard, and I was like,
Yeah,
this is gonna be the
hard.
most fire thing I've ever heard in my life. It does not. Yeah.
But it was shake that money maker in my face.
Well, I don't know what you're talking about, but she definitely stole that from Biggie. What's that Biggie line? Ha 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 ha! Check out this bizarre rapper style used by me at the BIG.
Yeah.
You wouldn't really say she stole it from anybody, because if you hear it, it's
this
not.
This person. It's one of the situations where there's a person who is the opposite of what a rapper is.
Oh my god, the most opposite
is rapping.
Well, first of all, I mean, I think we need to come to terms with the fact as old Negroes that and Christian, who's basically old Negro adjacent. There's no such thing as an opposite of a rapper now, because everybody raps. So
she's about as opposite as you can get, bro.
Yes.
Like we got to pull this up. I got to
find
it.
Like, so was Lil Peep, and he's technically a rapper.
You know how everybody raps, like just like you said. There's still people who don't rap, and this is from the people who don't rap. Because you can also hear it. Like, she's never rapped before, because if she has, someone would have made fun of her and not let her put up videos up on the internet. But
you know what? Let's talk about that. Sometimes you just need a good friend to make fun of you hard enough so you don't do mistakes like that. Like putting it like, she totally put it out with the intention of like, I'm gonna get eyeballs on this and somebody's gonna listen to it, but literally it's I
don't know. You think it's real? Like you think it's real?
I think it's about as real as Rebecca Black's video. Like, I think that was legitimately made with the intention of having fun. But you know the whole story, right? With that, there's a whole big like.
I love how you like have a backstory with is this about Rebecca Black or the current girl?
Yeah, Rebecca Black. So it came out. There was like this like stupid documentary, like kind of like diving into Friday, that song Friday that she released. But it happens to be that the dude who produced and made the video for her, he does these kind of videos to like I guess affluent people and families who just want their kids want to get into like music or do some kind of music. So he puts out all these trash beats and writes music for them. And sometimes the kids run with it, they make a video, and sometimes it's just, they share with their friends and family because, it's one of those things. But this dude full on had a whole business model where he would just like sell beats and videos and the whole thing, and
a complete
he would,
production
own the
package.
music. Yeah, a whole thing. I think he ends up owning the music and all that, so he's like the one reaping all the benefits of it.
Right.
But he was I don't know. You guys have been in New York City, and I'm sure you've seen these commercials. But you remember that there was this like Magic Mike, or it was like a clown. Like he was the hip hop clown. I don't know if I forgot what it was. I'm explaining this terribly, but literally it was this just regular dude from like Brooklyn who would just like play hip hop music. He's like, I'm the hip hop clown. He almost had the exact same vibe. Like he was like wearing the same gear he had in 2009, like in the video. And this is like 2015, 16. And God bless him. Cause he I'm sure he made a lot of bank on that.
Yeah.
Literally.
I know he also made a song, the I Love Chinese Food song.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, he had like a few of those like
Justin, are you
one-offs that would
with that
I love
song?
Chinese food.
I'm not, and I don't really know what's more strange. Maybe you guys could help me. Is it more strange that Cardona has watched a documentary about the song Friday, or that I am aware that Rebecca Black is now a crimson-headed bisexual because I have seen her TikTok?
Hey,
which is stranger?
Rebecca Black.
She's like 29 now, isn't she?
Yeah,
or like
she really is.
Mid-20s.
And I think she dropped like another like update to Friday that was much more serious, which like nobody gives a shit. Like just pack it up, bro.
Clearly, nobody's gonna get watching the documentaries about it. You're doing a deep dive on this hit single.
I was interested in the producer because he apparently he made off with money and all that shit, and he was like just a full on scammer. Which
like,
bless him.
Friday did kind of pop, and it worked enough for some people because she was at the VMAs.
Friday.
Like I remember one year they had a whole thing, like Kevin Hart was the host, and they did a whole little like comedy skit with her in it.
I mean, she had her moment in the sun.
Yeah. You know,
Well, she's got a couple million TikTok followers now.
because some of the other songs were really like not good songs. Like
No, she's
I think
not
she
a good
makes, like
artist.
serious music now.
yeah.
I'm like
sure.
tempted to open
Sure.
Spotify and check, but
I mean, I fucked with the song Friday. It was not a bad song to me.
I feel like that
Sometimes
was
you
a
just
song
gotta,
for
you know, it was just you just
were
gotta
young
keep
too
it simple.
during that time.
What
that was,
weird
that
did it
was-
come out?
Happy Friday to
2016?
all the listeners out there.
I was
Happy
2016, right? Was that what it is? 2016.
What?
Friday?
2016
Yeah.
Friday? No, that was like 2010.
Yeah, it has to be.
Yeah.
That
while
came out
ago.
when I moved to PA.
Yeah.
so
Oh
like
yeah. I'm
2009.
way off. Yeah. I was 20.
2011.
I was 20.
2011. Yeah, that was definitely like your bag at that moment. I could definitely see young Joey like Friday.
A little bit, you know.
Also, for the
That's
audio
probably what you
listeners,
got you into
Joey is
beat making.
rocking a
Yeah.
giant bun right now that I'm fucking with.
Thank you. Thank
Me
you.
too. I said that right away. It looks
Yeah.
good on him.
Yeah. Thank you.
It's very
Yeah.
Earth Gang.
Wow. Thank you. I will take that as a compliment. I don't listen to Earth Gang. They are.
I don't know
I don't
what
think
Earth Gang
very
anybody
talented
does.
individuals.
There
I
are
don't know
these
what Earth
two
Gang
spiritual black dudes who are hot with dreads. No one has dreads, and he's
Yeah.
always shirtless. He's like me in my perfect form if I was a better person, but I'm not a good man. And speaking of me not
You don't
being a
have to
good
be.
man, let's
You're like Piccolo.
let's turn this
Yeah.
let's turn this podcast into some tropical therapy. That's probably
Let's go.
the title. So
Tropical therapy.
I gotta ask you guys and our listeners, am I wildin'? So, for those who don't know, I was kicked out of my house when I was 18. My mom pretty much changed the locks on me very randomly in the middle of fucking February in New York. Told me I was on my own, just get the fuck out. Was homeless for a few years, and for full disclosure, I'm not gonna blame all that on her, just because, like, you know, after that first
I
year,
would.
like, I was kind of just fucking around. But, like, you know,
I still would.
she was never really, I was semi-interested in mending that tear, but also, like, I had to keep my own survival in mind. Maybe about years later when I had a child. So I was 22 when I had a kid. She knew when my kid was 3, so I was like 25. My grandmother passed, and she hits me up on Facebook with this long diatribe about trying to mend things between us, and how she wants to be a good grandmother. And rightfully so, had I not, you know, spoken to her a couple of times in that between 18 and 25, none of these conversations were pleasant. And I told her to basically fuck off. Like, you were a bad mother. We never had a relationship. You were a terrible person through and through. And I would be remiss if I let you into my child's life. That was about 7 years ago. The Facebook message still exists. So, very recently, she asked my brother for my number, which was fucking weird and annoying to me already because
You don't speak to your brother that
it's
much.
2021. There's 15 different social media sites that I'm on, like, and a podcast. You can find me, but let me ask my other son that I chose to love. but
To soften the blow.
So,
Yeah.
So she hits me up. Oh, I miss you. And I'm like, all right, I'm heated. She left a voicemail. I texted her. I was like, what do you want? And she tells me, you know, she has a lot of regrets and she wants to talk to me about her past, which maybe this wasn't her intent, but it was definitely like info dumping on me that I'm just like, I don't have the space for right now. I'm still a struggling podcaster. So, you know, I don't have the space for it. And I was like, listen, this is none of this is making me money. I not necessarily don't want to mend it. I didn't say that, but I was like, you know, this is not making me any money. You're asking me for free emotional labor to talk about yourself. And I didn't mention, but what I thought in my head was like, also, you have a fucking granddaughter, idiot. Like, why are you even talking about yourself? But then she goes, well, how much of your time will $100 buy me? And at first I was very insulted, but I put the phone down and I walked away and I said, what's a real figure? Because $100, any amount of minutes, I don't know what the fuck you're going to tell me. I don't know what kind of sympathy you're going to try to gain from me. I don't know what any new knowledge you bring to me will burden me. $100 will not save my life, but I can't unlearn things. So I thought to myself, and even if like nothing she said would necessarily like hurt me, I'd still have $100. But really, I thought to myself, you know, what's an honest number? What is an honest number that I would not only know that she's serious about this and not just having like a weird mortality crisis because she is in her 50s and in poor health.
Yeah.
And what's a number that I would say, okay, you're serious. I'm down to listen. I'm down to take the steps towards mending this as opposed to just listening.
Down payment on a house.
That's a down payment on a house. $20,000 is what I'm demanding. And that sounds crazy, maybe to some people, but I was going to send her like the figures of how I came up with this number, but I was having such a fucking horrible day that day. I didn't have an Excel sheet. I was just coming up with ideas. I was like, all right, so you made me the homeless kid. Average home price, you know, 200, 300,000 in this country. So you know what? What's 20 grand, right? So average home price, that's one way we get the number. 2, you're 54 years old. You should have 20 grand somewhere. Like it should exist at 54 years old. On average, an average regular working person making $15 an hour and chipping into a 401k from 18 to 54 would have, I forget how those numbers work out, but you would have
a good amount.
Almost $1 million. So, you know, there's that. And then there's also like, again, I need payments to know you're serious. This is again, I don't want this to be some mortality crisis. And also I want to breathe a little bit. You know what I mean? I want to breathe and say, okay, if I got 20 grand in pocket, I could breathe a little bit. I could work a little less. I got a little more space to take you in. I have more space to
You can take the time to deal with it.
Yes. So she did not text me back after that, which I totally expected because was a half-assed parent my entire life. Why would that change now? But was I wilding by throwing out that figure?
You know, with all the factors you put in, no, honestly. Because there's a lot to say about what she did. And as your friend for going almost 20 years, I've known you. I was there one day, you know, and how you try to have an earnest conversation and try to open that up because, you know, you were at a rough spot in your life. And we were like on the way to go back to my house, and like, I think it was like Thanksgiving time around that time. And, you know, she didn't have remorse. She like was bothered by you even coming by to pick up like extra clothes, which like realistically, I'm not trying to cry on the podcast, but like, I'm going to get a little deep. Like I could never, like I've been kicked out in situations where, you know, I've been out of the house for 6 months, or, you know, a few weeks. So not as long as you when it did happen, but, you know, I can't look at my own son or daughter and think that there's going to be something that bad. Then I'm going to be like, you belong to these streets like that. Like, and that wasn't a nice time in New York City.
2000s.
Jesus that was not a nice time in New York City. That was not a nice time. There was storms you had to weather. There was fucking blizzards. You were on a train. Like not again, like the kind of trauma that any of that fucking sparks in someone. And for you to come out like a decent, good person, regardless of how much we talk shit about ourselves, like you are a decent, good person and a great father. So
at the very least,
that's a crazy thing. Like most people take that and that's when you get to people where there's a mental breakdown. They are having a actual crisis. You somehow weathered it all and were funny and still kind and still wanted to believe in things. And she 20,000, like, yeah, I'm going to secure a place for you. You know what? I fucked that up. I want to mend this. I'm going to make sure you never have to worry about that. Let's get you in somewhere.
Amen. What are your thoughts, Joey?
Sorry.
The funny thing is, the only thing that's wilding about it is, this is something that most people wouldn't think of. I don't think most people in your position would be able to take it in this much of a business approach. So hearing it, being like, "Wow, 20K to mend a relationship,"
sounds crazy at first.
That sounds crazy. And then you stop and think about it, and you're like, "Okay, well, what could someone do to someone that just to let them back in their life again?" And all of the things that Christian said, like 20K is really like, that's really on the
Let's
low
work
side,
on it, son.
But
yeah. I mean, like the baggage that she's giving you, even by messaging your brother to have him contact you, knowing that your guard was always going to be down already because of it's your sibling, and you do have love for him, whatever it is, that the level it is, there's no judgment on that. But like, there should be a ton of resentment. There should be a ton of pain. There should be a lot. And you said it even before, like you're talking about yourself. So ma'am, you're talking about yourself. You're not talking about the child that your child has created. That shows that you haven't had a ton of growth either. And I can't blame you. Maybe you have your own trauma to work to, but you don't get better by making everyone worse around you. So
retweet.
Sorry.
Yeah. Glad you guys didn't think I was wilding. Because for me too,
at first, that was my knee-jerk reaction. I'll say what Joey said. That was my knee-jerk reaction. I was like, $20,000. And then when you said what you said on the chat, like it just went like, boom, like, and then all those memories came back, and I was like, fuck that, because we have our own share of shitty parents. My stepfather is a fucking terrible human being, but there's this baggage that he likes to put on me whenever he wants to get in contact with me. And then that's not often. I mean, we've spoken maybe 3 times in 3 years. Like, he has seen my son twice, and he's been alive for 5 years. You have seen my son more, Justin, than the man who raised me. Yeah. And he has never seen his granddaughter. So, and part of that's because I'm being standoffish, sure, but there's reasons for it, and again, you don't get better by just like, and she's just going to dump all these problems on your lap and tell you these are the reasons why I did them. And reality is, like, there's nothing you can do or anyone can do to not even justify it, but even to comment on it, because you did it. For whatever reason you did it. And if it was to save your own skin, then that's what it was. If it was to hurt somebody, then that's what it was. But that's your reason. And there's no way that I'm going to be able to get through all that minutia to say, I feel better now. Like, you're not going to.
Yeah, this is from my perspective. It just feels like a play from her to like gain forgiveness. And when I saw her approach about it, I was kind of just like, at the end of the day, like, yeah, there's wounds in me that need to be healed, whatever. But like, at the end of the day, like, I'm not gonna go to my grave knowing that I was a bad father. I'm not a great father. I won't even ever say that I'm a great father.
You are.
Maybe not even average, but my kid my kid didn't have to ask somebody else for my number. I put it in her phone. She texts me TikToks all the time. And the thing is, like, when she texts me TikToks, it's crazy because, like, I like all the TikToks she sends me. So I'm like, oh, shit, my fucking kid knows me. That's a very weird thing because, like, I'm very childlike and I'm very connected to – because the thing is with my mother is that although we have not spoken, I always keep her in mind to just be like, here's where I'm at in life. Because now, we're 20 years apart or 19 years apart. So, like I said, if I'm 34, she's 54. Meaning when she kicked me out, she was about 38, 39. And, I was just like, where was I at 34? Okay, like versus 34, my 34 right now versus her 34 versus my 14. You know what I mean? And it's like, what was our relationship then? What was her life like then? Would I have been able to handle having 2 children in a Queens apartment, a nice Queens apartment, but albeit Queens apartment, single parent.
Yeah, still.
And no, I definitely couldn't. So, and that's how I've made my peace within myself. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, like, there also is like, okay, I can kind of understand where you were coming from as I get older, but like, I also have a child, you know what I mean? And seeing that child grow up and remembering like where I was mentally when I was 10 and when she was like, you know, she's 10 and where I was mentally when she was 10 and what my relationship with my mother was when I was 10 and her at 6 and like the shit she was into at 5 that she's not into now. Like the fact that I like just know these things and like, I don't know, it just seems like, it seems, because it's like, again, I'm connected 3 ways. I'm connected with who I am now, who I was then, who my mother was then, and who my kid is now. So it's like, I can't see my kid robbing somebody because I couldn't afford to keep her in the house. You know what I mean? Because that's what I had to go through.
Right.
I can't see my kid like befriending like weirdos to like get a place to sleep. I can't see my kid on the train or on a park bench or taking the shit jobs that I still take to this day to get by. You know what I mean? I can't. And, you know, this actually brings me around to another thing in my therapy session that I wanted to talk about is that I think I've abandoned my plans to move to Miami. So for those who don't know, I'm in Detroit currently. And I was only supposed to stay in Detroit for the summer. A friend was helping me out, letting me stay with her for free, get some money up and move to Miami because I was just like, I need the sun. Like that's going to help me with this depression. And I realized that like, yo, it's summer and I'm still fucking depressed. So like, and you know, I had the same day my mother texted me, I was just having a very terrible day full of just very annoying inconveniences that all have been rectified, but just annoying inconveniences. I bought a couch, told you about the couch. My building has all these weird rules about like when you can move in,
load in
bring
and
shit
shit.
in.
Yeah.
Okay. So like, not only did I have to like basically like finagle a guard to try and like let me in this like freight elevator entrance, but my couch was like way larger than like I sat on it in store and didn't feel as large as it was, I guess, moving it into a full apartment. Right. So this couch would not fit in the freight elevator.
Jesus
and I was
Christ.
Fucking heated because I was like, I was
the
so looking forward to that couch.
You're already not supposed to be using.
Yeah. So I was like heated. I couldn't fit it in this shit. And then the security guard was like, bro, you just got to take it back to Value City, like, and just do that. So I was like, all right, fuck it. So I put it back in the U-Haul and it starts raining from the second I get this thing back in the U-Haul to the time I get to this store 19 minutes away. And I'm gunning it, and I'm like full of anxiety because like the store, like I call them and they're like, yeah, we'll take it back, but like you got to get here before 9. GPS is like you'll get there at 8:58, and I'm like, cool, I'll book it. But then the rain starts, and this is like biblical rain for 20 minutes. Like I could not see the street, and I'm usually pretty good about driving in bad weather, but like this was fucking me up, and I wasn't in my Honda, I was in a U-Haul. So I got it there, they took it back, which was great. Then I'm trying to drive the U-Haul back, and I'm like flustered because I told them I had the U-Haul back in like 2 hours, and it's like 4 hours later. The U-Haul place is closed, and then I get a fucking flat tire in Dearborn, Michigan.
What the fuck?
So I'm like, what the? And I fuck with U-Haul to just throw a little comedy in here. I fuck with U-Haul because they are reckless. Like, why do they let normal people drive this?
So reckless. Like, there's so many. I shouldn't walk away with like a 30-foot truck like that fucking long. Like having my license 2 months before. Like you just like
exactly. They're just like, oh, you got $20? Sure. Why don't you go kill some people?
Yeah.
Just don't leave the needles inside of the truck. Just sweep it out onto our parking lot. It's fine.
Like, oh, you want to sleep in this for a couple of nights? Sure.
just fill it back up. Just fill it back up when you return it.
And they don't even like ask. They don't even like ask you what you're doing with it. Like, I just love that devil may care business model. And they've been around for like 50 years.
There's no background check. There's no like it literally. You can just order on an app, and you can put your all the chopped up body parts that you have in there, unload it as long as you bring back the equipment clean, like inside, and I mean not clean, like sweet, like the bare minimum. They're good.
Exactly.
But if you do that or go right below the level that you took it with, they'll fuck you up. But everything else, good.
I'm kind of shook now, like thinking about.
Oh yeah, I love them, and they gave me a refund because I had the flat tire. But like, man, it was just like such a night, and I was just like thinking, like, damn, I had to do all of this by my fucking self. And I'm like, why am I gonna move? Like, because I have like a couple of people I know here, but they're all like not super close or busy or whatever. And
you haven't worked above enough friendship to ask them to help you out.
Exactly. And then I was thinking, like, if I like make a shitload of friends here and build a giant community here, well, I'm then gonna move to Miami and finish that. Right. And I was like, why don't I just move back to fucking New York? Like, I know it's expensive and I've been avoiding it for years, but like North Jersey is doable. And I'm just like, these are all my people. These are the niggas I talk to every fucking day. And like, I won't lie. Like, a lot of our friends are very much struggling or scamming to stay like in New York and Jersey because we are. I mean, I didn't meet all you niggas when I was homeless.
You go to Poughkeepsie. Poughkeepsie's cool. Poughkeepsie's.
I just spent 10 years in Pennsylvania. I'm not going to upstate New York. That's the same.
It's
thing.
not like upstate New York. Poughkeepsie's like its own like little place, and it's like 30 minutes away from the city on a fucking train. Like it's
but it's got
doable.
New York prices. Jersey's cheaper.
Way better. I'm just saying.
Well, I mean, I got a year lease to look into it, but I was just like, you know what? I need to just go home, dude. Like, I was on in PA, spending all my free time in New York, thinking, oh well, I live in PA, so. And for those who listening and don't know, I was living in Allentown, which is, depending on what part of New York you're going to, and traffic could be as little as an hour and a half, could be as long as 3 hours away. Which, when you're working a job that's 12-hour shifts, kind of like eats away at you. And also, there's that fucking $30 fucking toll to get in and out of New York, which is bullshit.
Yep.
Too much, bro. Why do we need to put tolls? I don't understand tolls personally, but
I don't either. But I mean, I do have an Easy Pass, so
right. Well, the original concept is that money is supposed to go to the maintenance and service of that, bridge or tunnel or highway or whatever. But still, like, the fuck? Isn't that what we pay taxes for?
The thing that doesn't make sense to me about that
we pay the taxes for that.
We pay taxes for that, one. For two, more people now drive than ever, yet the tolls keep getting higher. So, like, why are tolls getting higher if more people are driving?
Yeah.
Like,
and they've gotten rid of like all the labor. Like, they just put everything as an Easy Pass, like cashless tolls. And you just like, there's no humans anymore. Like, do you remember as a kid? Because you would drop change into like a change machine, and it'd be a person, or be like, hi. Like, you never see a person. When you see a person on those roads, something's gone wrong. I'm just like, something has gone terribly wrong. You fucked up on your Easy Pass. You have a person in your back and they're trying to get out, or you have a lot of drugs and someone found out. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, they're pretty much there to catch criminals pretty much at this point.
My mother almost fought a toll person one time. Minivan full of kids. Like, that shit was crazy. There was some tension for some random reason. But then after the exchange of cash, the toll person had mad long nails. And there was some change. This was already that had been passed. Like, it was a hostile situation. And when she was giving my mother the change, she dropped some of the change. It was like a dime fell. And my mother is just like, out loud, just announcing, I gotta go fuck this bitch up. And opens the door on the highway to just pick up the dime, and I'm like, oh my gosh, she said she's gonna fuck her up. I'm thinking she's gonna fuck her up. But luckily she just picked up the dime, got back in the car, and I believe we drove away. I don't know if anything else happened. I may have blocked it out because I'm the pussiest nigga alive.
Your mom's Colombian, right?
No, my mother's Puerto Rican.
Okay, so she's fiery.
Yeah.
Because I was gonna say, our moms have something in common. My mom was a raging lunatic, and I guess that's where I get it from. There was one time, I can see picture clear as day. So if you ever been to Flushing, Queens, there's lots of bakeries, Chinese bakeries, all kinds of places. It's just a little hub. So she goes to this particular place that she likes getting her Napoleons, which is like, she's such an old person for getting a Napoleon. But she grabs them, gets back to the car, wants to like sneak in a taste. She does. They're stale. So she gets out of the car. She's like, these things are stale. Fuck that. Literally just said fuck that. Went into the store. So you know how bakeries have those big windows that you can see through. So I can see everything she's doing, but I can't hear her because now I'm in the car. So I see her pointing at the box, and the guy's like shaking his head like he's not going to take it. She literally just throws those motherfuckers and stomps them out on the floor. And I could hear once she swings open the door, "You motherfucker!" And just like
ready to kill over Napoleons.
Raging over Napoleons, you old woman. R.I.P. Mom.
All right.
I'm going to take this time to let the audience know. Please send in stories of your parents fighting people in public, because I also have one. I mean, my mom has whooped my ass many times, but I did watch her get into a fight once. So, PS22, Staten Island. That's where I graduated twice. So, because I guess 303, but in I guess so. I graduated from elementary school twice, because after middle school is like 6th, 7th, and 8th grade in Staten, but in Queens it's just 7th and 8th. So I graduated twice. So my first graduation from PS22,
gotcha.
My mom was there in the back, and I'm sitting next to this girl, Amanda or Ashley, something like that. And my mom, I guess there was like a conflict over seats at this graduation. So my mom and the girls who was sitting next to me, her aunt, just start beefing with each other over a fucking seat. And they just start throwing fucking hands. And I'm just looking at Amanda, Ashley, and I'm just like, sorry.
Like, yo, we're friends. I'm cool with y'all. This is not an issue.
And then her and my stepdad got into a fight in the car after the graduation. I think they were supposed to take me like by Buster or something, and that never happened. But seeing your parents fight people in public is very strange.
It's also awesome though. For some reason, like if your parent is winning, like if your parent is getting their ass beat, it's a different story. But I've seen my stepdad fight two guys right on Main Street, literally just whoop both of his ass. And for a visual, right? This is a short Colombian guy. Like I'm 5'8" and I tower over him. He is literally like maybe 5'2", 5'3", like just a very mini guy, kind of like almost we used to make fun of him and say he was kind of like a Joe Pesci, because that's his character. That's who he is. Like Joe Pesci in every gangster film was my father. Like he had no sense. Yeah. But he was just overcompensating all the time. Yeah. So the best fight was seeing him literally fight these guys who are probably like 5'10". They're these big like Asian dudes that come out of their fucking cool ass Porsche that my father has just thrown a New York City trash can at and bust right through their fucking windshield. Yo, I've never okay, so like you're a kid and then you see your dad do that because he's defending you. Like we were crossing the street. These guys, my mom was holding me and my brother's hand. So we were like I was probably 8, so my brother was 6. And so not old, but enough to know what's going on. And so these guys honk at my mom and us while we're crossing the street. Yo, he was not having that. That just snapped him. It was just the perfect excuse. They come out of the car. He breaks the first guy's nose with a successful headbutt.
Cool.
Like very successful. Like literally just went crack, then drops the other one on the floor. PD somehow is there's like undercover DTs because again this is the 90s. Like they're everywhere. Dude pulls out his shield. What the fuck is going on? Happens to be a Latino. So these two guys are Asian dudes. Sorry, there was some racism. But like he looked at my dad and he realized that he was defending us and that these dudes were being their aggressors and had stepped out and tried to fight him. He literally sees blood on his head, and he tells my dad, "Go get checked out because you've got blood on your head. You just have to do this." They wipe it. It's not his blood.
Right.
So he literally somehow, like, there's a neighbor that's right there, and she's like, "I'll take them because we went to school together. You guys deal what you have to." They have to go down to the precinct. But my dad comes back that same night and he's just like, you know, like you got your car destroyed. You got fucked up in broad daylight. And then the cop said, you got fucked up. That's all. Like, you just got fucked up. Like, cause these are old school undercover DTs. They don't care. Like, somebody's supervisor came down and said, hey, we got to take an official report. That was it. That was amazing. But I also seen this man run out of the house in just his tidy whities to inspect like a fire happening. So he's all over the place.
If I
that
ever
might be where my confidence is.
If I ever get into a fight in front of my daughter, that is going to be the fight of my goddamn life. Like, there's no way. Like knowing that like her brain is still forming and like the outcome of this fight could change her entire reality, her entire relationship with men. This nigga's got to die. Like 100%.
Absolutely. Listen, man, if you're going to see your parent fight, they better fucking win. And this is your clip right here. I think the content is there already. Justin, we're writing it. It's coming out, bro. We've got a lot of other topics that if you guys want to cover, but we can keep talking about parent whooping ass. But I think the audience should chip in.
Actually, had a question about Justin and his potential, migration back home.
Okay.
So you were saying North Jersey is doable, right?
Like north bordering central, like East Brunswick. Like I was looking at houses there, and they were in like the $200,000-$300,000 range. Yeah. Which like if I save for my credit's great, so save for a year. I'm trying to like figure out a career move because I'm also very sick of the whole like just. Okay, so one thing about PA I will say is I was very spoiled at my job because I was making a lot of money to do basically nothing. And although that was great, I didn't really have any kind of financial sense at the time, hence my entire body being tattooed and having a pretty much new car. So I was very spoiled at that job, but a lot of places don't pay the same for what I was doing. I was making, I'm not going to say what I was making, but it was good. And I have not found any even remote equivalent to that here. I'm still looking, but I don't want to go to Jersey on some like, well, I just hope I find that crazy bag that I was getting in PA. So got to come up there with some new skills. So I got a year to like get some big money, get some new skills. Also like,
new skills are important.
And, also, what's that? FHA loans are a thing. So,
and for listeners out there, like if you're looking for a career change, get into any space where it has to do with project management, search engine optimization, anything with code. Like there's a lot of paths that are being fed out there for free. Like Google is literally giving people certificates for all of these things at no cost to them or low cost, whatever it is. Like it's an opportunity. I'm doing it myself. Like I'm taking a few courses in project management.
I would love some work from home shit. I'm tired of I was always been like a manual labor type workhorse, but like I'm getting older.
That's not the wave.
It is
the
not
viewers
the
have
wave.
noticed my constant neck cracking. I've been addressed about it in the DM. So
it's terrible.
I need something working from home and working naked all day, that's the vibe. So
man.
You have to wear you have to at least throw on clothes for the video chats. That's all you got to do.
I was gonna do this shirtless because I don't like to have my AC on, but it's hot as fuck in this apartment right now.
Oh no, you can definitely have the AC on.
Joey, you looking for a house? What's up?
Yeah, my wife and I are in the process of saving for it. We're just she just got a promotion at her job. Shout out my wife. Yeah.
Hey.
Well, have you looked into FHA loans?
Nah. I haven't looked
into
essentially
to make a long story short, instead of putting like the normal 10, 15, 20% down, which most of humanity cannot afford, you get a federal housing loan where basically you only have to put down like 3.5%. There's other loans out there where you can put down nothing. And they all come with like there's a bunch that come with like sort of caveats, but like a lot of the times, even those caveats are still cheaper than rent for most people.
Yeah,
so like,
sure.
I think with the FHA loan, one of the caveats is you have to have, don't quote me, but I'm pretty sure you have to have loan insurance, which is such a bullshit scam the same way tolls are.
Yeah.
So you have a higher mortgage because you have to have
pay that
insurance on the fact that you have a mortgage. But like I said, that could still be cheaper than a mortgage. And on top of that, there's also there's some caveats where it's like, oh, if you have to live in this space for 10 years or you can't rent it out or anything like that. But again, these are, if it's you and your wife looking to settle down and be close to the area, it's all these. Buying a home is very doable. It's just, you know, people are scared of it.
Yeah. I mean, it's a very complicated
There's also not
process.
enough education out there.
You know,
like, you literally have programs that are even centered. If you have a good enough credit score or even in just the right demographic, like you can secure things from credit unions, which if that's another thing. Invest in a credit union because you're not actually just a customer, you're an investor. Everything that you put your money in there, you're able to vote on where it's going, you know exactly, and it's back. And there's tons of like structures that they have for loans. So some of them for first time home buyers where they'll match $7 to every dollar that you put into that savings account. Right. So, and that's another way to secure closing fees or anything else, because the reality is, home buying has a lot of different little ins and outs, but it can be very doable as long as you just research it. So fucking free fact, bitches.
Buy a home. Yeah. My mother-in-law is, she's queen finesse when it comes to like home. Like that's my wife and my mother-in-law's like, forte. Nice. My mother-in-law more so, obviously. Like my wife's always just at my ear with like some numbers and terms saying, oh, if we do this and we do this, we do this. And I'm just like, whatever, babe. By the time that shit happens, I'm gonna be fucking rich, and we both get cash. That's
but
really
you need
that's
a woman
really my,
like her.
That's
you
really
need a woman like
to
her
it.
to put you in the right space. So good on you, young lady, young woman, person.
Word.
Because she's doing the right thing, dude. That's exactly what you should do. Listen to her. It's that if you listen to these women, they have a lot, obviously, better ideas than we do most of the time. So like literally, like I just sometimes like have to be like, all right, fine. Like
yeah.
Like, all right. Like,
I mean,
Joni's the same way. Sometimes like she's like really great with just ideas that like can just bring in shit. Like, you just gotta like.
My wife's a career
what's
woman,
funny?
So.
I definitely wanted to scrap this segment, so I heard a rap line where I was listening to the line and I was just like, I was wondering like I wanted to like guess if this line happened, and I wanted to do like a little game show segment where I listed out rap lines to ask you guys whether or not they're true. And I'm not gonna get too into it, but this one does kind of have to do with the topic. So, and it's the only one that there's any like actual relatively close answers to whether it's true or not. And it's from my favorite Jay-Z song, Song Cry off the Blueprint. Yeah, the first Blueprint.
Yes.
And
Song Cry. I used to listen to that shit and just literally.
And there's a line, in keeping with Jay-Z's whole like $500K or a dinner with Jay-Z for his business acumen. There was a line that goes in that song. A nigga had very bad credit. You helped me lease that whip. You helped me get the keys to that V.6. We were so happy poor, but when we got rich, that's when our signals got crossed and we got flipped. And I thought to myself, has Jay-Z ever really had bad credit?
Yeah, he did in the beginning.
Had bad credit.
At least in the beginning. At least he didn't have credit history.
Jigga
like
definitely had bad credit. He did. Yeah. He definitely did not have credit history at one point.
Not credit history. That's all it was. But you know what?
Really,
it's mid 2000s, early 90s, late 90s. Yeah. He's figuring out how to get into a house, into something because they didn't check shit. Like, it was Wild Wild West. So I'm sure he secured somebody's like condominium and like or like a brownstone. That's how it started all the empire of Jay. But that's a real.
You also think he had bad credit?
No, I 100% do. I do believe he had bad credit, but not because of mismanaging funds. I don't think that. I don't think Jay-Z was ever at a point ever where he was like, fucked up with money, like fucking it up and shit like that.
Had to
He
be
just
the
seems
white
too
man's
reverent.
idea about credit.
I'm gonna
history
go ahead and
shit.
I'm gonna go ahead and say that's a fucking bold-faced lie. There's no. I think he had like little credit history, but I don't think because the line is also like basically, he's saying this girl co-signed with him for this whip.
Yeah,
And
you need somebody with no credit history. He's definitely the one, and she needed that, and that's who she was, and that's why I song cried every night.
I couldn't find out whether that exact line was true, but it is. The song is about
true.
like it's three different relationships. He's saying like this. There was like three different girls. It was kind of about. The main girl it was about was somebody named Fanny that he dated in Brooklyn, and I gotta say there seems
I'm not
like
dating
nothing.
anybody, Fanny.
I mean,
Facts.
I might date a Fanny, but
She might have had the Fanny, so
She might have.
dude, I fuck people with some weird ass names, but I'm gonna go ahead and say that like I think there is nothing more horrible in life than your ex-boyfriend that you broke up with. Because in this like little snippet of a transcribed interview, he's saying that like she broke up with him to pursue nursing. Could you imagine if you broke up with somebody and they went on to marry Beyonce?
oh my
Yo,
fucking god.
this is the best result. Like, can you imagine? Like, I've been in situations where an ex sees me and I'm doing a little better, but like Jay-Z better? Like he's literally a mogul. Like how you said a few episodes, he like comes down from Mount Olympus every now and then. Like this dude is like basically royalty.
He's
American
a black
royalty. Yeah. All right. Yeah. I'm there.
So there's like no way in hell.
Does that make Kanye the Antichrist? Because he kind of gave birth to Kanye.
Yep.
Although I will say, I did have a nice revelation today because, I haven't even listened to Donda in full because, Kanye's music is just like, yeah, he's a genius. I don't care. Like, he's depressing and weird and super rich and like being depressed while you're super weird. But while you're being depressed while also being super rich is very annoying to me. But like, I love the fact that like, I still hear Way Too Sexy by Drake everywhere, and I don't hear anyone talking about Donda. So I think we all know who won that class.
You feel me? You feel me?
Drake
Big
is
champagne
Big Draco
Bobby.
with it.
Yo,
Drake is always gonna end up like at the top. Like he's just so universally palatable.
Yep.
That
To be fair,
it's just like
That's what
honestly,
I'm saying. Like, if you hate Drake,
he was
you're
in a
weird.
Sprite commercial at like the beginning of his career.
at
Like
the
not
fucking
like
beginning.
not 10 years. He was like 1 year in the game. He had a Sprite commercial that was aired everywhere. Like you were in movie theaters, Drake drinking a Sprite. Hey, like this, my God, this beautiful Canadian, Jewish
Could you
Canadian.
imagine being like one of Drake's exes? Oh my god,
Aubrey, if we
Oh.
Because the
will.
thing about
my
Jay-Z, being
God.
Jay-Z's ex is like, the thing about Jay-Z is like, Jay-Z's kind of old. He's kind of like, he's not in the forefront anymore unless he really wants to be. Like, you only have to hear about Jay-Z once a year, but you will never escape Drake. Never.
Oh,
Never.
Never. His songs are
Ever
everywhere
again.
all the time.
Ever again.
You can't even have Spotify. You can't even like have a music service.
Think about being his baby mom's. Like she has to like, oh, your daddy's a piece. Like, imagine just like that typical story that you hear.
Oh no,
about
she's set up
like
and,
talking
and
shit
tells
about
it-
him.
she's doing well. I mean, she's
doing very well. Like
she was an
is-
adult film actress.
Oh no,
so
but I
she
mean
was
that
always,
kind of
you know.
the attitude where sometimes you see moms kind of get a little vindictive and they don't want the child to be in. Like you can't even pretend.
Yeah.
Like he's literally at the Kid Choice Award today. Like he's not like they don't let you around if technically
Imagine
break kind of. I don't
like
know.
she's
Hollywood. You be weird
arguing with
sometimes.
like your child, and she's like, "Your daddy ain't shit," and you're just like, "Ma,
Your dad's like getting
my
slimed
dad's
on
fucking
TV.
Drake, bro. My dad is
You're just
fucking
like-
Drake. Watch your mouth, mother.
Your fucking
How
Who
dare you?"
is paying these bills? You see these curls? You see the fucking
His
curls?
baby's
I gotta
mad
get
cute.
them. Yo, he's so adorable. He's like literally.
So I
He's the
did
best.
listen to Donda in full, and it was really cool at first, and then second time, a few songs in, I was like, I'm turning this off. I do not want to listen to it because Kanye. This is the thing about Kanye West right now. He's a gospel rapper, and it is actually like very off-putting. And you can tell like he had some really dope features on the album, and you can tell what he did was he was like, okay, I'm gonna take these artists that everyone fucks with so heavy right now, Lil Baby, Fabio Foreign, Lil Durk, and I'm gonna get on a song kind of like what they do, and I'm gonna rap like they do, except I'm gonna make it about Jesus, and I'm gonna also have them,
such a weird fucking
say
person,
something
man.
about God and some theme about God, but it was like, I don't want to say preachy, but he was going out of his way, like he would have a line, there could be a line in a song, it could be a sample that says, I love him. And then he'd be like, Jesus Christ, my savior, like as an ad lib. He's doing shit like that.
Funny though? Like he's literally always been like that. He's always been like that. Like we all remember Jesus Walks. That whole album is like very religious.
Yeah.
Walks. That was a banger.
He just like stopped being as good at like making it palatable, I guess.
Yes.
I don't know. But also,
he just doesn't give
back
a fuck.
to Jay-Z.
That's the thing.
But back to
He just
Jay-Z.
makes so much money.
Jay-Z is on both those albums.
He is.
He's on
And-
CLB and Donda. So shout out to him collecting that bag, which is why I don't believe he ever really had bad credit.
That bag isn't even a bag
I'm saying
for him.
no credit history. He realized he's like your pizza maker, owner of a pizzeria. He has no history. He's good in cash, like all the time.
See, I feel like Jay-Z could have had some bad credit because of some scamming type shit he may have done. Like, okay, my credit's good, or I don't have credit history, so I'm gonna bust this scam, but I don't give a fuck about my credit right now because I got these bricks.
You know who didn't
of
have
cash.
good credit? Big L. I feel like Big L never had good credit. Like he just right off the bat.
Big L didn't know what credit was.
Nah, never did.
Big L
never
didn't
did.
fuck with credit.
He just had the pack of heroin and like had a few like things on him, and that was it. But God, rest in peace.
Rest in peace, Big L.
Yeah, Big L's song came on today on my YouTube because YouTube does this thing where it just like keeps playing videos when you put on music, and it came on after a comethazine song. I was very confused. Like this
strange.
This works together, but I don't know why YouTube knows that.
That's so good. Somebody's listening. I don't know, man. Listen, Spotify being Spotify, bro. It is a monster. Like, think about the playlist that you get, and then you go like, oh shit, how'd you know that? That whole figuring out the time capsule, like what you used to listen to when you were like 10. That shit bugged me the fuck out because there were some real ones that were exactly what I listened to, but I haven't listened to up until that moment, and I was like, why is Taproot being played?
Right?
Yo,
no one needs to know that.
I had to pull the dick out on somebody today because I was in a
Literally
group
or
chat.
figuratively? It doesn't matter.
Figuratively.
Go ahead.
It doesn't. Figuratively, I was on a group chat, and one of the guys asked another guy in the group chat, like, "Oh, do you listen to Afrobeat?" And I was like, yes, I do. I don't know why the fuck you're asking this nigga. And he's like, don't listen to Afrobeat. I had to pull out the Spotify Daily Mix. Like, do you see this shit? Do you see all this fucking Rema? All this Adania, bitch? Like, I'm Jamaican as hell. I was conceived in a steel drum, bitch. Don't play me.
Wait. I want that to be the truth. Like, all the time. Like, I want us to have steel drums. We're going to market steel drums. And with a picture of you as a baby. We need that.
I think this is just feeding your like retail therapy. You're just gonna like have a steel drum in your house on top of your fucking air hockey
Christian's
table for some
making
reason.
things to buy.
It was free. The air hockey was free.
That's sick.
It was probably like free with your purchase of a car or some shit.
No, I do a lot of retail therapy, but it was genuinely free. Like I hated it because it's fucking gigantic, but I finally got it down to the basement, so I'm much happier about it now. So, but I don't care. I still got an air hockey table, and I'm gonna somehow secure a fucking pool table because I know when I get a pool table, I've made it. Like, because only like really wealthy people for some reason have those like legit ones that are not scuffed or ripped. Like,
pool tables
literally
actually
taken
piss
care
me
of.
off.
Why?
I think I talked about this on another episode.
The reason-
Pool tables piss me off because they're so expensive, and pool is the most boring fucking game.
It's
like
not bad if you're by
$3,000.
yourself, bro. I would rather do it by myself for free, though. I'm not dropping like.
I mean, I'm a big
You remember the
saver. I'd
billiard
rather play
place?
with marbles.
Did you ever go to that billiard place by Union Square?
I have.
I've been to
inside
billiard
of it
places.
one
Not that
time.
But you know the one that sells like all of them? They're like 8, 9, 10 grand. Like they're like wild. Like it's like when you
Right.
start looking at a piano, like for real. Like
Yep.
the best thing about a piano is that you can always usually find it for free if you're looking.
Right.
But going to buy a new one, yo, that's a flex.
Yep.
I'm sorry,
Yes.
where are you finding free pianos?
Just look for it. People
Yeah,
are
let me
always
know.
giving away somebody's like untuned piano because it's a big
gotta pay
fucking
a
like,
tuner.
stand. Yeah.
You gotta pay somebody to come and
It's
tune
gonna be
it.
annoying, and it's gonna be annoying to lug. That's part of it. Like that's
Right.
the whole shtick. Like you gotta
But
get
for
a truck.
free,
you-
oh
like-
my god, I'll do it.
Yeah.
If I knew I,
You
if
ever
I had
saw
the
that
place
Atlanta
for
episode?
a piano,
Oh,
yes, but I don't remember it.
it was it's Donna Glover playing this like weird dude, and literally they're trying to get this free piano. but this
the Michael
dude's just being-
Jackson.
Yes,
the
yes, it's
fucking Michael Jackson shit.
Yes.
Oh, that shit was
Yeah.
weird.
Such a funny episode. I love Atlanta. Yo, that's coming out.
That's
Like,
what they've been. I've been hearing people say that to me.
For 3 years?
Yeah, pretty
since
much.
like that's like peace in the Middle East, bro. Like it's just I've just been hearing it my whole life. Another
Yeah,
season
I
of
hope
Atlanta.
so.
Like when it
It's so
comes, I will believe it. When I
That
see it
lemon
on
pepper
Hulu.
wet episode is one of my
Ooh,
favorite.
there's
episodes
another
of all
episode
time.
of Sex Education today.
Sex Education.
I talked about it on another episode. Remember I was talking about
Yeah.
that show where, like, I know we've made progress because the bully in this show was a gay Indian
Gay
kid. and
kid,
it's like a high school.
yeah.
Oh,
Another
okay, I'll
season
watch that.
comes out today.
Banging, bro. There's been a lot of good TV. I've been satisfied, and I'm waiting for that new Sopranos joint. The many sons of new work. Yeah, that's gonna be.
I've
dope.
actually never watched The Sopranos.
Neither have I.
Really? Whoa. Both of you haven't?
Yep.
Okay. So
I saw the last episode because I was, like, at my grandma's house at the time.
Don't
It
do
was,
that
like,
to
airing,
yourself.
and that was it.
Okay, that was airing. Okay, please at least watch 2 episodes. It's not a ton of time you got to dedicate, but just watch it because it is really like one of those seminal like moments in like TV history. It's like, in my opinion, it's like what changed almost like how you view television now. Like you can watch
Okay.
it serialized, like things make sense.
Yeah.
There's progress throughout the story. But it doesn't feel like so kitschy. You know, it feels like a very genuine show. Like, I mean, like how Breaking Bad is. You know, like it's telling a long form story in a world that most people aren't privy to. So it is like really enticing in that way.
Right.
Because you're never gonna, like, I don't know, I'm not gonna be a mob boss. That would be a wonderful day, and I'll make a wonderful episode, and then I'll get immediately caught.
Mhm.
But
Oh, no,
are
I'm
you
definitely
gonna be a crime
going
boss?
to be. I'm going to be into, like, listen, I told you, I got like 3 years before I'm offing myself, but I'm going to try everything in those 3 years. Organized
Okay.
crime is like bottom of the list because that requires finding people, but I'm definitely going to do that. Also, speaking of crime, how about you come up off that HBO Max password? So I
I'll
can
do that for
legally
you.
watch that shit.
I'll do that. for
Send
you.
that to the group chat, baby.
If we want to talk about crime, and this is how I'm going to close out the show, I think Devious Licks. Did you guys get to watch it? Like, I know I sent it to you
I
guys.
did. I did.
Okay,
Yo,
yeah. So,
okay.
Devious Licks is basically, well, we all know what a lick is. It's robbing somebody. But kids have now started doing what's called Devious Licks, which basically has a TikTok trend of kids literally stealing shit from their school that is entirely useless to them just to say they stole it. And I
was like
saw the grand
floors?
poobah of them.
Which
I
one?
saw the
Which
best
one?
one. A kid apparently, and I don't know how true it was, I didn't have any background information, but a kid apparently posted that he stole a smart board. You know what a smart board is?
Yes,
What?
I do.
Nah.
It's literally like a digital
Just walked out with
chalkboard
it.
that they
Yeah.
use in like fancy high schools that apparently costs like 40 grand and is like 2 tons.
Yeah.
Here's
Not
the
2
reality.
tons, but it's like a few hundred pounds.
Here's
It's
the reality.
huge.
You're snitching yourself out so hard. Now, what's the end game here besides the followers? Because they're putting these videos on burner accounts at this point, right? Because Like you have to. Like you're not showing your face. Like even like you're like I saw toilets getting lifted, like stall bathroom doors. I saw people like taking I guess I don't know where this is, but wherever there's a school where people lock up their skateboards, like the dude took them. I saw kids like taking like actually bolted on tables, like taking like getting their ratchet set and like just doing this and walking around school. So like even if like it's just like ha ha, like bro, you gotta like do something about that.
Listen, we can't say this is new though because
it's not new.
I mean, I
didn't videotape my shit.
I went to a New York City public high school, so I mean, my school was dead garbage. But like,
shout out to school, because I'm gonna shout out my shitty school.
Niggas definitely stole a lot of shit from Hillcrest High School in Queens, but
Hillcrest was a piece of shit. I went to John Bound, a terrible school, a fucking stupid school that for some reason had goats. I don't understand that.
47 kids to a classroom.
but
Jesus
we have
Christ.
goats. Like,
but you know what? Speaking of goats, I was really jealous of like those like white coming of age films where like the football team would steal the rival school's like mascot and shit.
Yeah,
because that's their reality.
Football team.
Right?
Here's what I was missing. Here's what I was missing. Like they had just like strife. They had problems. You know, like minor things like, they stole our animal. Like my school had kids getting stabbed with screwdrivers. That was my reality. Bro, that's not fair. Like that wasn't fair. Like I was like, oh, I wish school could be like that. And then like some kid just dying. Like literally he got hit by a car after getting stabbed.
Oh,
you can look this up, bro.
Oh, I'm gonna
graduating
close this
year
out.
Of high school.
I'm gonna close this out with the funniest fight I ever got into in high school. I posted a TikTok about this a while ago that got some clout, as the kids say. God, I'm so old.
Mm-hmm.
But
yes.
So in my high school, right? I went to Hillcrest High School, and like down the street was Jamaica High School, and both of these schools were filled with gangbangers, felons. Both of them,
terrible.
Pretty much consistently were on the top 5 most dangerous schools in New York. So kids from Jamaica, being as brilliant as they were, would come to Hillcrest just to fuck around, just because there was no record of them being there. So I guess they like couldn't, get in trouble, even though you would get trespassing charges instead of like
it would get
suspension.
Worse trouble.
This is like the plot to Lean on Me, just so we're clear. Keep going.
But kids from Jamaica would come to Hillcrest and start random fights with random kids. So in my high school, kids would start fights with me. Well, not really with me so much, but they would start fights with my like weird goth friends, and I would always be the one to step in. So I gained maybe sort of reputation for being like the nerd who could fight. So random kids from a complete school that I'd never met before would try to fight me all the time. And it was like, and I posted this on TikTok, and kids were in the comments like, bro, you were the final boss.
That's exactly what ended up happening.
And try and fight me. And like, I didn't really win them all, but like, I didn't like lose because my school was filled with like real security.
Part of it is
like,
showing up, bro.
Cops.
Right.
Part of it is showing up.
But that's actually not the funniest fight I got into, but I'll save that for another episode. But
I want to say the last thing, and it's delayed. Why? Just do it. It's fun. It won't do it. It's funnier this way, I think now. It's I ruined the joke.
The soundboard will kick in 25 minutes. While you guys wait, this has been the National Meat Treasure Podcast. Follow us on all social platforms. Your host, Tropical Justin, at thin.cruel.lips on TikTok and Instagram.
At Saint Thrilla on TikTok.
I'm a failure.
And Instagram.
I'm just going to say I failed today. Top of the morning. Sorry, guys.
National Meat Treasure.